Coming to you live from New York City, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and there was a time.
7:20.
No, you misunderstand me. With me this week on the 10 Point Podcast. First, as a man with two penises, do you dress to the right or left, Chris?
Yes.
He does. I thought so. And secondly, a bad man who doesn't waste time wondering what could have been when he is what could have been and what could not have been. It is Andy.
It's totally the best compliment I've ever had in this.
There you go. You're welcome. We are.
It's inevitable.
We are the 10 Point Podcast. Google 10 Point Podcast. You will find us information. Our website 10pointpodcast.com. You'll find our YouTube channel, which has a lot of videos, but not recent episodes, since it's taken the huff with us.
Doesn't like us.
Banned on YouTube, so spread that around. This is the best podcast ever because they work.
I get all that YouTube money in now. That's the issue.
Yeah,
It knows we're close to payouts.
Spotify still has video versions of the podcast if you still want.
And they love us.
If you want to see us, we are a Spotify favorite, creating a lot of content for them. They love us over on Spotify, so probably listen to us on Spotify if you want to.
You can watch us on the app.
Exactly, yes. Podcast apps are available, but we favour Spotify because they put the video version up for us so you can see us. Either way, 10 Point Podcast, YouTube, sort of a bit iffy at the moment, but still give us likes and subscribes.
And you can watch this episode where Chris looks like he's high as fuck.
He's a bit under the weather.
And cough medicine.
There you go.
It's like half a jar.
Twitter, Facebook, you can get in touch with us, maybe give us cold remedies for Chris. Lager, I'm sure will be a good remedy. We'll feel better after that. Either way, find us by Googling 10 Point Podcast and you can contact us and review, pass us around recommendations and all that. But before we get into this edition of the 10 Point Podcast, what was everybody's highlight of the week? I'll kick off again because I'm weeks behind everybody else and I've seen something that's newish but not new. A month after it came out, I had a spare afternoon in town and went to see the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my god, film!
I know. It's actually coming to like home streaming, or it's already on home streaming, and I went to cinema to see it. The big perk was we were the only two people in the entire screen watching it, which was fantastic. Like literally, it's nice watching it in a nice cinema on your own, big screen and all that. But the thing is, you can like talk. Like normally when you're in cinema, it's like you don't want to talk out loud. Because it's a pain in the arse, and I hate it if someone else did it. But it was just the two of us sitting here. You can have a conversation about the film that's going on because there's nobody else there for you to ruin it. So I was having a lovely time watching this, and I enjoyed myself. It's far from the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but it's quite clearly a kids' movie more than it is.
It's not.
It's obviously there's throwback references as there are in every children's movie.
Have you seen the original one?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
because it is ultimately exactly the same story.
Oh, really?
It blew my mind. I was like, they actually are from New York, and they go back to New York. It's just like, this is amazing. They're actually humans. It blew my mind. It was the same story.
That's good. Yeah, I saw somebody somewhere. I can't remember who it was saying how they've ripped off the story to Shrek, and I'm thinking, well, Shrek's hardly an original story. Like they've ripped off a million other ones, but also, why have you picked Shrek? It's not like Shrek, really. Anyway, but I guess it's princesses and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, very much enjoyed it. But not like I say, it's fine. There's plenty of problems on the way. It's clearly made to sell toys and video games. But I feel like it felt, saying this as someone who's barely played a Mario game in my life, it made me want to buy them, by the way. I want a Switch now after watching the movie. But
I've blasted through them since watching it.
It really, really made me... It felt like I was watching the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these other video game versions of things make it so different. Oh, we'll keep this aspect of the story, but change that. And I want to make it look like this. They made it look like Mario, act like Mario, sound like Mario. I thought it was really good. I would look forward to another one because, like, I went into the film. Jade knows less about it than I do. I'm like, she's like, are you Mario or Luigi or something like that? I was like, no, I'm Yoshi. Yoshi's my favorite Mario character. So I was like, I'm looking forward to him coming into it. One fleeting reference in the middle of the film to some Yoshis, and then the very, very, very last bit of the whole thing is a Yoshi egg, and I'm like, God damn it, it seems so close to getting a Yoshi. But
I want to see Luigi's Haunted Mansion game.
He kind of got a bit of that. There's elements of
he was in the scary world. Also, they're definitely saving Wario and Waluigi for the sequel. They'll be the villains in that, I think. But yeah, it's a fun time. But I think you either have to be a kid or love Mario to really be like,
I just love that blue star. I relate to that blue star a lot.
yeah, I was reading about them, and I found out why it was so like desiring death, because it's quite a character. But yeah, it got the biggest laughs in the screen I was in. I'll say that much. The crowd loved it, whatever
The sweet release of death.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. And just more and more people would get added to that kind of
Yeah.
prison, and it was getting more and more depressed the whole way. But yeah, the Mario movie, this is Mario movie. It's all right. Like I wouldn't recommend it highly to everybody, but if you think you'll like it, you'll probably like it. I think it's probably the best way to put it. Andy, any highlights of your week?
So I started watching Fubar on Netflix, which is the new Arnie series. Episode 1, I'm like, yes, this is a TV show, hour long. I think it's 8 episodes or 6 episodes. Yes. When you put on episode 2, this is not your home network.
Oh,
You're not allowed to watch it. So
right.
now, fuck you, Netflix, and your fucking arsehole fucking. Me and Sean had an agreement. He could password share some of my shit. I password share some of his shit. And finally, Netflix done the thing that everybody said that they wouldn't do. And as of apparently May 26, they fucking blanket ban password sharing, motherfuckers. So that's all I've got to say on that.
But I think
I wasn't
really
enjoying
only got
Fubar,
through
but I'm
one
not going to
episode.
recommend it now because Netflix
Yeah.
are cunts.
on this podcast right now is probably when my dad's going to find out he probably doesn't have access to Netflix on his computer, because I've got it to my house. So apologies.
Because like
for
I
that.
was just like, and then I was like, and as soon as it comes up, it's like, please sign it to your own account. And I was like, I was like, all right. I suppose it's about time I get my own account. Click on it, and it's like $4.99. That's not bad. With adverts, I'm like,
Yeah.
don't like adverts. And then it's like, or you could pay as a $8.99 for basic, and I was like, no adverts. But the shittest video quality in the world. Who watches 720p anymore? Except if you're watching this
I'm
podcast.
watching the podcast. Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, what's the normal one? And then the other one is $10.99 for standard version without adverts. And I was like, that's more than double price. Like, how many adverts is there? And I was like, 8 minutes worth of adverts every hour. I was like,
That's it.
and then
Fucking hell.
what? Yeah, and then what I'm used to, which is like when me and Sean used to share it, was great 4K HDR. That thing's $16.99 now. That's way too much for Netflix.
Yeah.
So Netflix, you fucked yourself. People are going to pirate the shit out of your stuff now.
Mhm.
I think all streaming services now know that it's like we need to have a show everybody wants to watch, and they will come for that one show. And when it's finished, I think people are now wise that I will cancel. Like I've now cancelled Apple TV Plus because Ted Lasso's finished. Because that's all I wanted to watch on there.
Yeah.
And it's like Netflix is going to have the same now. People will pay for I don't know, 2 months worth of Stranger Things, but they will cancel afterwards now, and they'll go somewhere else. So
I reckon
Apple
Netflix, Netflix's big new thing will be exactly what you say. It's like they're going to do like, because obviously you can just pay a month then cancel, pay a month cancel. I guarantee they're going to start locking people in for 12 months now and fuck you.
yeah, maybe that.
I can see that coming, but yeah, Netflix, fuck you.
But
But yeah, Fubar was pretty good.
it was good. Well, for episode 1, it was good, was it? Right.
Episode 1, Arnie's back. I mean, Arnie playing with a vibrator, it's TV gold.
Okay, you sure you're on the right thing?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely amazing. That's what you got to look forward to. Is Arnie like it doesn't seem like he's whatever 70 odds. Like
Yeah.
it's an action thing. He plays with vibrators. He's got a comedy style. It's brilliant. Just good.
Everything you're
Good
looking
stuff.
for. All right. Okay.
Yep. Well, fuck you, Netflix.
Chris, what was your highlight of the week?
My highlight, I've started watching Modern Family about after a few years.
Hell, you're behind.
Started watching, or you'd seen some? What's
No,
the,
I've started watching it. I'd never seen it, and it's absolutely belting.
Yeah.
Like
I
7
fucking
episodes.
love the dad.
Oh, Phil, he is
Phil's the
he is
best.
who I want to aspire to be as a dad. He is
To be fair, when I was
hilarious.
watching, I always thought that's how you would be as a dad. Especially because they're all
like,
girls as well, pretty much. except for-
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same pattern.
that
isn't
is
it?
my
Girl,
dynamic,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah.
2 girls and a boy. And like every now and again, like Nick will be watching stuff upstairs, and I can hear her laugh out loud, and I was watching stuff, and it's just like, huh. I was wetting myself at Phil, like getting smashed in the face with a plane and getting hit by a car. He's just, it's brilliant. So yeah, if you haven't watched, nobody's watched Modern Family, get it watched. It's
I think I've
Absolutely
probably only seen the first half of it. I think I definitely watched maybe the first 5.
I must admit, like the last couple of seasons, you can see why it got cancelled. It was going downhill big time.
Right.
I mean, they even had like what John Cena doing cameos and everything like that.
Okay.
It's carnage in the later series.
But yeah, I always remember like nearly every episode was worth your time. I think
Yeah.
the one thing it fell into the pattern of me that I really I start to hate American sitcoms when every single episode is built on a lie or an assumption. Somebody overhears something and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't," and then they go on that assumption, or somebody, usually Phil in Modern Family's case, lies about something,
Yeah.
and the whole episode is him trying to catch back up again to the lie he made. And I felt like Modern Family fell into that pattern, but every episode was one of those two things. It's like, oh god.
The bike stealing episode was quite funny.
I can't remember way back. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've seen them, Chris. I'll be honest.
All I
the guys
remember
are
is
getting 3 bikes.
Al Bundy's batting above his average. Like,
He's a nice man. That's why. I
I love
guess
him. It's brilliant.
Jay, he is in that, isn't he?
It's Al Bundy. Though.
He is Al Bundy.
I'll
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen him act till the episode. So, anyway, is that us? Any more highlights?
No,
Fuck you,
that's all.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Low light Netflix. On to point number 1 of this week's podcast. What is the point? The point this week: 2006's crime drama thriller Lucky Number Slevin for the 7th season of the podcast. That's why that was picked for later on. Written by Jason Smilovich, I think is how you say it. Famous for basically writing Lucky Number 7, Slevin. That was his breakout writing thing. Did a TV show called My Own Worst Enemy. The film War Dogs, which has, I forget his name now, Superbad. The fat one in Superbad is not fat anymore.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actor's name now.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. I knew it was a J at the beginning.
That's the 50-50 thing.
Yeah, it was in the middle of that one. I was like, okay.
That's the famous line when he's like driving, like, oh yeah, so what's the chance of survival? It's like 50-50.
Right, okay. See.
It was like a meme everywhere.
So that's from that film. And then the TV series Condor, also written by Jason. But it's literally those two films are kind of the biggest things ever done. Directed by, Lucky Number Slevin, Paul McGuigan, who I assure you is not the guitarist from Oasis, but a director, famous for directing The Acid House, Gangster Number 1, which is a film that I had forgotten about when I read about that. It's a good gangster film. Wicker Park, then did Lucky Number Slevin, did 4 episodes of Sherlock, Victor Frankenstein, the film, and most recently directed the TV show Inside Man that I recommended about 3 or 4 episodes ago that was on Netflix, but I've now since found out it was a BBC drama from like a year before, which I thought was a brand new Netflix thing when I watched it. So he directed all of those. The film stars as Slevin Kalevra, we find out what his full name is at one point, Josh Hartnett, who, brand new to the podcast, not someone that pops into the mind very often. His breakout, literally nothing on his IMDb profile comes before Halloween H2O, the main kid in that. So out of nowhere to be in Halloween H2O. Then he was in The Faculty, like somebody from every single film we do every single week is in The Faculty. Yeah. That film gets mentioned.
A banger.
Every week somebody's in that. Pearl Harbor, that's not far behind. Then it was Black Hawk Down, Sin City, and then Lucky Number Slevin. Since then, 30 Days of Night, the Penny Dreadful TV series, and then he's in an upcoming Black Mirror episode that will be on Netflix this month. Shout out Netflix.
Fuck you, Netflix.
Second on my list of characters, the boss, played by Morgan Freeman. We know who that is. Moving on. The rabbi, played by Ben Kingsley. Famous for being Gandhi. I could pretty much stop there. But after that, Schindler's List, Sexy Beast, then Lucky Number Slevin. Since then, Shutter Island, which I forgot he was a big guy in that.
Film.
Hugo, I'll go back to my Shutter Island. A good film. However, I worked out the twist from the trailer, and I knew that was going to happen, so it kind of ruined the film to me. That's where it was going. After those things, Iron Man 3, Ender's Game. He plays Bagheera in The Jungle Book from 2016, and then he reprised his role as Trevor from Iron Man in Shang-Chi a couple of years ago. And that's basically the last best thing he was in was Shang-Chi. Next, as Lindsay, we have Lucy Liu. Famous for the Ally McBeal TV series. That was the first thing I really recognised her as being in. Charlie's Angels. She's one of the Angels. She was in Chicago, Kill Bill, then Lucky Number Slevin. So you can tell it's kind of a bit of a change of direction from the previous things she'd done. So a wee bit of a different role in this one. Kung Fu Panda 1 through 3. I don't know how many there are, but she was in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, make her 4th.
I wonder if she's in that. Maybe I didn't see her referenced in terms of being in that. So maybe she's left Kung Fu Panda now.
She kind of.
She's Viper, I think it was.
She'll be back.
She'll be back. And then finally, she's been Watson in the Elementary TV series.
Nobody give a fuck.
My dad did a lot of that, so he might. And finally, on the list, a lot of people in this film, but I stuck with these ones, as Stanley Tucci, as the detective whose name I had to Google and then I forgot to add to my notes, Rakowski. But I don't know if he ever really gets called that in the film. Anyway, the detective guy who's trying to catch up with everyone, Stanley Tucci. He was in Beethoven. I don't know who he played, but he was in Beethoven. He wasn't...
Oh, he's one of the dog nappers.
Right, there you go. So one of the dog nappers in Beethoven.
So
I knew Chris would be the one to name who that was.
Beethoven.
Big Night, that's something he's famous for, I don't know it. The Terminal, then Lucky Number Slevin. After that, Devil Wears Prada, Julia and Julia, The Lovely Bones, Easy A, Captain America, The First Avenger, The Hunger Games, Spotlight. He's in a couple of Transformers films. I don't know if he plays a Transformer or not, but he's,
he's one of the guys.
One of the guys. I mean, I stopped. I know there's a new one coming out, but I kind of stopped.
I can't wait till that's Beast Wars.
Like the third Transformers.
It's supposed to be back to its best, apparently.
Aye.
And he's also, coincidentally, in the Inside Man TV series. I'm assuming that's how everyone kind of got together. So, and I'll shout out for that, which I've still only watched the first episode, but it was good. So they are our main cast of characters. Bruce Willis, I didn't bother adding him in because we've covered him a couple of times before. Spoiler for later. Lucky Number Slevin, budget of $27 million. Opened in the US, $7 million on its first weekend. Final US gross, $22.5 million. Worldwide, $56 million. So doubled its money worldwide, but not a great return. Not what they'd be looking for. Released 24th of February 2006 in the UK first, and then the 7th of April 2006 in the US. I don't know why we got it first.
Twist.
We did, yeah.
Because we don't spoil our things. That's why we got Transformers first. We got Transformers 5 days before the Americans because they're going to fucking spoil shit.
That must be what do you call it? The people recording it in cinemas as well. Must be lower over here.
I think that's when it goes to China.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those dates, February and April 2006, means it qualified for the 2006 and also 2007-ish awards seasons. It didn't get any nominations at any of the awards that we cover, or really anything of any note whatsoever at all, except from the Myth Awards. I was like, what the hell's the Myth Awards? The Milan International Film Festival. It won 4 awards at that one there, including Josh Hartnett and the director and a couple other ones. I think it was editing and then the film one in its category as well. So yeah, not an award-winning film necessarily. Synopsis. A plot summary for Lucky Number Slevin. Brought to us by Claudio from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh boy.
I saw his name and I'm copy pasting. That's going in the notes, and I will not look at it any further. So I've no idea what this says. So Claudio says about the film: in New York, when the unlucky newcomer Slevin arrives in the apartment of his friend Nick Fisher for a leisure time, he is mistakenly taken as being his friend, who owes money to 2 powerful bosses of the criminal world. He is pressed by the boss to kill the gay son of the rabbi as a payback for the death of the boss's son. Next door neighbor Lindsay, who works in the morgue, tries to help Slevin, and they fall in love. Meanwhile, the cold blood killer Mr. Goodcat is mysteriously helping both crime lords, while Slevin is also pressed by Detective Brakowski, who is chasing the boss and the rabbi. In the end, revenge is a dish best served cold. Old Klingon proverb there at the end. Who picked Lucky Number Slevin? It was me. I picked it. It fitted my theme because this was a real stretch, because I looked at all the other films that I planned to pick and they all had a notable police or a robber in it, and I thought Lucky Number Slevin, sure there's a policeman in that. If not, there's definitely criminals in it. I might get away with it. But at one point, thankfully, Stanley Tucci says that he is some sort of cop, and Josh Hartnett replied, well, I'm not a robber. And I'm like, at least I got one of them then. There is a cop. Had you guys seen this before?
Yes.
You had both seen it before. I thought Chris might have said he hadn't done it before. I've seen it a few times. I own the DVD somewhere. I can't find it at this point, but I own the DVD.
It is.
There you go. But I always forget some of the plot in between viewings. Like I remembered enough this time. I would look out for things. But this time I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. I forgot about that bit. But it's more than ever, I think I remembered this time what was happening. What channel would we find this on?
This is Film 4.
This is a nailed-on Film 4. Absolutely the Film 4iest film that's ever filmed. It's on here. It's the only place that would show it. And we all watched the same version, because there is literally only one version of this film. No extended, no alternate, no changes, nothing edited whatsoever. So we've all seen...
Apparently there's an alternate ending where, spoilers for later on, Lucy Liu dies and doesn't come back.
I could see how that would be a thing, yeah. It was like maybe the dark ending, I guess, would be the way to go. But yeah, never went to print, I guess they would call it. It's always been the same way. So on to point 2 on the 10-point podcast. High points. What we thought the best bits and things were about Lucky Number Slevin. Early on, I would say as a high point, I've got from There Was a Time when he said, basically to him breaking Nick Fisher's neck is a high point for me, where we get basically the drugstore handicap story is what they call it, with the horse and all that. Does anyone want to expound on any of that early going for me at all?
That entire bit I think's brilliant, because I had a bit of a Mandela effect. I thought the horse finished, they went after him because he got in the little deal that they were going for.
Right. Okay.
But then, as it was kind of happening, it kind of came to me as, oh no, the horse dies, and he fucks up big time.
I always like forget. It's like they come and kill him straight away. It's like you bet on this horse with the wrong people to bet with, and it doesn't win. And then before you can even get to your car,
they wasted no time.
Yeah, and it's like I always thought there was some sort of like twist to do with that, but it's just because they're new in town and they didn't want to have this embarrassment in front of them.
You imagine them just sitting there going, "Oh, this horse is coming in. Right, mate, let's go, guys. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. What was the number plate again? Yeah.
Yeah, been going to his car to get the money or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Have you got the money in your boot? No, I don't. All right, you're coming with us then. Oh no, the car had gone, hadn't it?
Oh yeah, they take it. He's like, it's in my car. Whoever's got my car, nick my kid and my money.
Yeah.
I'll let you off this time.
Yeah.
The other part of it is I'm not sure. Obviously, it's the 80s, but I don't know why he had to go to the racetrack. Like, could he not just have like he didn't? When you go to the racing, presumably it's to go put bets on. Like that's where you can bet on and you can see the horse racing. He knows he's already betting on this horse, so I don't know why he had to take the kid with him to go to the horse racing. He just could have like found the results in the paper the next day or something like that. But it seemed weird that he went there having already bet on it to watch the horse.
See, I had a wee blank. I was wondering why he went, but yeah, he paid Roth, didn't he? And he put the bet on with Roth, and he did it. So he was just going to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. He might have been safer. I'm betting with very dangerous people. I might be best not to show face at this racetrack and just find out that it wins. Like, it might have been the best way to go about it.
I don't know. Why did they kill Roth? Because it wasn't his fault. He
Exactly.
just took the bet.
Yeah, I've no idea why they killed. Like, surely that's the kind of guy you want to have in your debt because you could just maybe milk more money out of him again. It was a strange way to go. But anyway, the early going, then the coming back to the everybody looks left and you look right, and then he snaps Nick's neck in the airport. Was a good little ending to that front bit there. So yeah, I very much enjoyed it. That's my high point. Was near enough.
Good news. That's my only high point. So
was that your only high point in the whole film?
Hell.
Yeah.
All right.
Because ultimately, I have a massive issue with this film. Is after that one bit, I'm like, yeah, Josh Hartnett, he's out for revenge. It's definitely him. And that's why I have a problem with this whole film. Like, I literally cannot genuinely let you guys talk about high points in this film, because every single high point you'll say is literally going, yeah, but they do this. It's like, it's him! It's just going to be a big twisty twist at the end. This is a film that came out after Saw and Twisty Twists. I can see it coming. It just annoys the shit out of me, this film. So, it annoys me.
Presumably, to me, I've always thought it was that obvious that it was just part of the story.
Yeah, no, but it's not. It's just like they try and kind of cover it up, and then they do this weird Saw, like, look at me, flashback, weird walking. Basically, what I'm going to get down to, I literally had to stop and go, did Guy Ritchie fucking direct this film? Or did he have some fucking part in it? Because it fucking feels like Guy Ritchie.
It felt very like the first 10 minutes into it. I was like, this feels really much like Snatch. And I was like, we only watched that about 3 films ago. I was like, this feels just like Snatch. I don't remember it feeling as similar as that.
And I said, this is probably the second time I watched it, and this time just properly knocked me off. So strap on, boys.
Yeah.
If you got high points, I'd get them out now because.
Oh, I've got several.
I've got a few, yeah.
Good. Because it's a one film. I'm going to point number eight. It's one. This is shit.
What did you give last week?
Carry on.
My next one is like Slevin explaining his bad week.
Yeah,
The cheating excuse of it was an accident always makes me laugh because like Slevin says, what do you do? Just trip in and out of her.
I do like it from that one straight away. Lindsay, the character, it's quite an interesting character because she's straight away trying to be like basically Sherlock Holmes, trying to work out what's going on, and she immediately calls him on. You said bad things happened in 3, and then gave me 4 things that happened that were bad. So immediately you're like, yeah, he's not exactly telling everything that he's kind of.
And she's a sex pest.
She's a sex pest, is she?
Yes, because she came back in for a sneaky peek.
She did, yeah. But yeah, his bad week was funny, and I very much like when Elvis and Slow arrive after that.
Yeah.
His teeth were way too big. That annoyed me.
It's a really, I've said it's an unforgettable look, but I'd completely forgotten these characters even existed in this film. With Big Slow with his teeth all the way up there, and
it's like.
So funny. And tell it to the one-legged man so you can bump it off down the road. It's like, and everyone just, what the hell are you talking about?
I was gutted. I wish they did have to die because I thought that him and Elvis were great.
Yeah, like, again, one of my major complaints about this is going to be like some of the background characters and the fact that they have about 1 line each and then they're not needed anymore. These two, Elvis and Slow, I like them a lot. Not so much Saul and the mute guy from the other side.
Yeah.
Like him quite as much. But yeah, Elvis and Slow, they were my MVPs for about 10 minutes of this film. I was loving them. And yeah, just everything they had, try to work out that it wasn't Nick, but it was Slevin, and them still think, well, you must be Nick, and we need to take you in, and him be like, but I'm not him. So the first time where this mistaken identity thing was going on, it was good.
I did like the thing about it was just like, you should say one more thing or break your nose, and he's just like, my nose is already broken. Crack.
Yeah, exactly.
Go fuck about with gangsters.
Into the car, which is double broken nose, yeah. And then they take him to the boss, which is Morgan Freeman, which is my next high point. I always think that his story about the shmoo is, I thought it was going to be, oh, here's Michael Pena, the shmoo story. I don't actually know what the shmoo story is even about.
Right. It was going to be on my low point, but what the fuck is a shmoo?
Or what was the point of his story? I don't know.
It's a milkshake. Shmoo milkshakes.
It's a milkshake. It's like, what is the shmoo? The shmoo is, it's everything to everybody. It is whatever you want it to be. And it's like, okay.
It's a MacGuffin.
And then he could, yeah, exactly what I thought. And it's like, oh, he's obviously trying to say that Nick / Slevin is the shmoo here. But also, he doesn't carry on the story. He just stops, which was weird. But when the boss takes him to see Slim and he's in the freezer, and you owe Slim, so you owe me, that kind of exchanges they have in that scene was a real high point for me. Josh Hartnett and Morgan Freeman really funny. I thought Morgan Freeman was really good for the most part in this film because he doesn't have, normally has proper Morgan Freeman style scenes to have, but this one he's playing it a wee bit differently. He doesn't often play the baddie in my recollection.
I feel like he says he's not a bad guy, but I feel like if the guy didn't owe him money, I think they would have got on all right, and he would maybe like try and get him into his wee group.
Yeah, you can see them being pals. Yeah, one way or another. Any more hype, Chris? I've got a few more. I don't know how far it is.
There's kind of a lot of like just walking about and stuff. So my next one is like the shift in tone. Like as soon as Slevin kills the fairy, it gets dark. And there's like absolutely no more humor in it whatsoever.
Yeah, you're right. It's like basically you find out what's been going on the whole time, and it's just, for me, I'm assuming Andy found it differently. This film absolutely flew by. I don't think I ever watched a film for the podcast that took less time as this. It was just like absolutely, the film flew in. It's so well paced for me writing notes. I didn't have to pause it all the time because normally I could just write in my opinion on something that happened before something else happened. It absolutely flew by this. So
drivel.
Yes, you do like drivel. This is not.
It's shite.
But yeah, the first, like, nothing particularly happens for the first 40 minutes of the film, but because it's all,
you know about it,
you're all learning about people, and it's like, oh, that's important, this is what this connection is to this person. It keeps moving, and it's literally bouncing, like usually with Slevin, from one scene to another. It moves really quickly.
When that was happening, I was like, that's the kid, he's going to kill you all. That was always going through my head continuously.
But that's because you've seen it before, you know?
Well, no, even before I had seen it, like the only person that confused me was Lucy Liu. I couldn't work out her connection, which obviously she naturally wasn't connected. She just helped out at the end.
Exactly,
so.
She was the wild
But
card.
other than that, I was like, you're going to die, he's going to kill you, you're going to kill him. This is a Leon situation. I had it down, like even the first time I seen this film. I can't even remember where I seen it. I probably channel film 4, but
Film
yeah.
4. I like the chess game scene where we get at that point being called Smith, but we find out is Good Cat, explaining to the boss what to do, and then you get the boss explaining the same words to Slevin, and it's like there's 2 chess games happening and like the same conversation happening twice with 3 different characters. I really enjoyed that scene where we find out what Slevin has to do rather than what he does do, if you know what I'm saying. Get given the mission was a really good scene. Morgan Freeman good in that one as well. I feel like Josh Hartnett is. I don't think I've ever seen him be. I don't think I've ever seen him be good in anything, but he's a good.
Shit.
He's underrated. He plays cocky well.
Yeah, he's a good kind of like, I don't know, inconspicuous kind of just like anonymous kind of guy. You can believe that he's just like, I'm just a dude. I'm not supposed to be mixed in the trouble here. But then he can also kind of just flip that switch, like you say, to be like a bit of a badass when it comes to when he needs to. Believable in that aspect too.
Since you mentioned, my next high point is that. Like,
them
just
being
seeing them back to back, and then they're a little back and forth together, saying, "Oh, you killed my son. Not to do that." And he goes, "Well, I killed your son." And they're like, "What?" And then they're like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And then he starts telling the smooth tale again.
Yeah, he does the schmoo this time, which again goes nowhere, and I still don't know what the hell he's talking about.
No,
I like when Morgan Freeman tells Ben Kingsley that I have killed your son, and like the realization that Ben Kingsley gets across really well in that scene was good, and him just cackling away. One thing I had forgotten is that our team of heroes had killed the boss's son in the first place. That's one thing I'd forgotten coming back into this. That I thought that it was still Ben Kingsley had killed off the boss's son, and that is what started.
I remembered that,
but I didn't remember.
It was thingy.
Yeah, I didn't remember that bit there. You mentioned the murder of the fairy before, which is a good scene, but especially Bruce Willis standing with the guns towards the wall, these guys, and then jumping through the wall was really a really good bit. I like that, especially because you could hear running down the corridor. We know they live next door. You can hear people running down the corridor, and then the door opens, but it's just Slevin coming back in again. And you're like, oh, so that wasn't them, and then it cuts and they just bounce through this hole or make a hole in the wall. Is a good scene. And my chair has slowly sunk down there. I don't know if talking. So I'm going to go back up again. And so I've only got one more high point, and it's basically I've got the reveal / explanation / twist, if you want to call it that, at the end.
Twist.
Well, for me is I'd forgotten Stanley Tucci was involved. Like I had completely forgotten that he was one of the gangsters. Was the twist for me? I was like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, he was.
Here's the back of the seat was the big twist.
The back of the seat, exactly, yeah. But I like that. It's a great revenge scene. The scene that Chris is talking about was the two of them back to back when Josh Hartnett finishes telling the shmoo story. It goes on explaining how this is his revenge or like that. It's like, oh yeah, that's.
He's I can feel it. Cold as well. He's like he never gets angry and raises his voice and like. And some of them always go like, "Oh, you killed my family! I'm going to kill you!" But it's really like just, what's the word? Like, there's no emotion to him.
Yeah. Wait, he says he's got that condition, doesn't he? Where he doesn't feel anything or whatever it was, or doesn't get nervous and all that. But yeah, I just feel like I had this meticulously planned out, and it has gone exactly to plan because I am smarter than all of you are, and I've been planning this since I was 8, or however old it is supposed to be. But yeah, the actual revelation at the end, it lasts about 20 minutes. The whole let's explain it from the beginning. It's like there's not much room for like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. They tell you this is literally everything that has happened in the background. So yes, I very much like the end. Any more high points from you, Chris?
No, I'm out. Andy?
I think we've touched them all. Andy's already said
covered them all.
I do have low points too, though, Andy. So you won't be alone in point 3 giving us your worst bits and bobs.
I don't have many low points either, to be fair.
Cool. Oh, you start off then. You've not talked for a while.
What a massive waste of talent in this film. Like, the credits starts, oh yeah, this person's in it. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a banger. Every single one of them was underused, and you kind of mentioned in your high point. Morgan Freeman, underused. Bruce Willis, great character, underused.
I think he's okay. I think he's supposed to be just like in the back.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
But Stanley Tucci, like Ben Kingsley's probably the weakest one out of the lot, like compared like when he's like thingy, but yeah. Like Stanley Tucci, he's brilliant. He's like, they're just all underused. It just pisses me off.
And then, like I said earlier, Elvis and Slow. I wanted more from them. Get 2 scenes and are killed. Bloody, what do you call him? Who plays the rabbi's Saul?
Oh yeah, Corey Stoll.
A big actor nowadays.
Yeah,
he has 4 lines and he's killed off. They introduce there's this Hasidic Jew who beats up people but doesn't speak. And then he literally doesn't do anything for the rest of the film after that. I
want to know why he didn't speak.
Yeah, I know. It's like, here's a character with a character tidbit of information and interest. Nah, we'll just kill him off at some point. They just, yeah, everybody has like a tiny bit of character. There's no depth to anybody except
Yeah.
from, I guess, Slevin is the only one who has any
Which
depth.
is my next low point. Fucking, that's not a name. Slevin is not a name.
I don't know if it is.
It's not a name. That's the name
No,
of
I
the
know,
horse.
but like,
Yeah, but why would you
I
call
know it's the horse, but like, still, like that's like probably where it gets like grinds my gear straight away. It's like the first bit, like, all right, building up. What is this? It's like, then straight away, it's like, oh, you're the new guy. Oh, you're the kid because you kind of look right at the right age. So that set me off in the wrong thing. Then it's like, my name's Slevin. It's like, no, it's not. There's no fucking person called Slevin. That's a lie. Which then sets red flags off straight away. Going, right, you're definitely going to kill everybody here. And like I said, the Lucy I actually kind of like, because you don't actually know what's going on. Maybe he is there meeting his friend, and then it's like, no, you're the guy. You're the guy who's going to like kill them all. This is what's going to happen straight away.
We haven't met anybody. Who are they killing at this point?
Well, like just the guy that killed his like father. You know, it's going to be some kind of revenge story.
I just watched the film in his head before it's even happening.
And then as soon as you see
Sorry.
Morgan Freeman, it's like, boss man. It's like, yep, you're dead. Straight away.
I think you've got the Mandela effect of when you first saw this film. Actually, you'd seen it before, so I think you
It was called Saw.
This, and
It
you were
was
just
called
like,
Saw,
oh,
Snatch.
I remember everything that happened in this film. So
It's about 1,000,001 movies. This is trying to be and not successful at being any of them.
You mentioned the first scene with him and Lucy Liu is a good scene. Lucy Liu really, really feels like she's acting in that scene. I did not buy her as this
She's too small.
next door neighbor. What? There's like a gimmick. It might be a trope. Is it not like the pixie dream girl? Something like the characters that men write into TV shows and movies. That is this impossible woman who is everything a man wants that doesn't actually exist. And it's something like there's something.
Harry from Big Bang Theory.
Maybe
That's the perfect one. Like, there's no way like Larry's going. Anyway, different thing altogether.
Yeah, it's like So the way Lucy Liu plays that first scene, I'm like, I don't buy you at all. Like, if anyone I'm being suspicious of, it's you. It's not. It's you. When she's more doing the morgue things, and actually, I meant to mention this. There's a scene where you don't hear what's being said. Where again, as Chris mentioned, the tone shifts, which is when you could tell Slivin's finally fallen in love with Lindsay, and he basically tells her everything. But you only really know that scene when you are watching it for the second time or the third time, because he looks a bit sad. He sits her down. At the end of the film, you find out, oh yeah, that is he's telling her, I am this person. I'm here to do this. I'm working with him, and you're going to be killed. So we need to make sure you don't die. That's a really good scene that she's in there as well. But her just being friendly next door neighbor and being all flirty, I'm like, you are just.
I can't believe you shat on my one and fucking only kind of semi compliment.
The scene is good. I enjoyed the scene. It's just I don't feel like Lucy Liu played it very well. Like, I was thinking, I was like, there's probably a dozen actresses that would be better.
Lucy Liu is like pretty much the only savior of this film.
Definitely not.
Right. Next low point.
Well,
What the fuck? Who was on crack when they decide, right, we need somebody to score this film? Right, whoever scored it, get his name up or her name up. Fuck me, the score in this film is fucking gobshite. I hope they never did anything successful ever again, because
J. Ralph was in
charge.
charge.
If they do anything successful ever again, because it's fucking shit.
Music department.
Not a chance.
Not really.
Exactly.
Not that I can find.
So about music, that song right at the very end was shit.
When I was trying to get into it, like I was like, right, I'm going to get into the story. The music just puts you into a different fucking film completely. The music does not add up to this film.
I thought
he did some music for Man on Wire. I don't know if you know the guy who'd walk the tightrope in between the two buildings. He did some.
I've seen that trailer for fucking ages.
Yeah, he seems to be the only person who's been in terms of music, because it's J. Ralph.
Right. Well, that's why this film killed his career, because fucked it. Music is awful.
I like the feeling it gave the film, and it wasn't one stage I was thinking there is no needle drops in this film. I do like a good song in a film. We've got a nomination for it for the pointies and all that sort of stuff. But I was like, I quite enjoy this film. It isn't just full of like 80s bangers from the 80s to be like, it's the 80s. Here's Cyndi Lauper playing, and then it's like modern day kind of cool music. I liked it had its own kind of. It gave the film its own kind of feeling, which I quite enjoyed. The music.
Wrong.
No, that's my opinion.
It's wrong.
Okay, well, we'll come to wrong opinions at some point for you, I'm sure.
I've got a small one. Behind Andy is one of them. The wallpaper,
Oh, horrific.
every single room is horrendous.
Horrible stuff, yeah. Again, I'd understand if that was the 80s wallpapers, but there's one house, is it the black and white segment, where
It's
they've
like
got
the
like
40s, 50s.
like headache-inducing, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stripy wallpaper. I'm like, oh my god, it's horrible. But yeah, talking of small ones, it's always annoyed me that the two buildings don't quite face each other. It's like, could you not like, it's New York. Surely there's two buildings that are like looking at each other that you can be like, these are the two buildings we're going to use for the film. One doesn't even face the other one. It kind of looks that way, and this one faces it. It just always annoyed me that was the setting for this war, but they're not really battling. They're kind of.
I'm assuming they were built beforehand because you'd like to think that if the boss built his, then the rabbi would have built his bigger, and then the boss would put his bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought that's the thing. I think they're more than being I don't know, property people. They're always just being crime. Like, we don't need to build our building and put the boss on the side of it. It's like, oh, we'll keep it quiet in this already used building over here. I've only got one more low point. So Andy, have you got any others?
No, you fire on, see, so I don't take all your low points.
How did Smith, or Good Cat, depending on which name he was using at the time, how did he kill Saul and the mute guy just in broad daylight out on the street and nobody seemed to care?
I'm assuming it's just Jack Walker. Pew pew. Done.
There had to be somebody who was like,
New York City.
yeah, exactly. It's the middle of the city, and they were just
It
like,
happens all the time.
yeah.
I just want,
Surely
I'm shooting a film here, guys. Pew pew. They'll be all
Surely-
right.
There was like one bullet hole in each half of the windscreen, and a dead guy. Somebody would have seen there's two dead people in this car here, but no, this seems to be fine.
I
With it.
forgot about that because I was watching it as the cops were driving away, and I'm like, no, it wasn't the cops. It was the boss's goons. And I was like, looks like there's bullet holes in that window. And the short window was like, that's because there fucking is bullet holes.
The implication is that the boss's guys, Elvis and Slow, have done it at that point. In my notes, it had that. It's like, how did they kill them in broad daylight? Nobody noticed, and I found out, it was Good Cat actually did it. But how did he do? How did he manage to get away with it?
It's like I don't know, like the softest war ever. Nobody seems to fight each other, despite the fact that they're across the roads. You'd be like chucking stones at each other or something.
Yeah, it's like a complete stalemate. This war, like it's just like if he makes a move, then I'll make a move, but I'm not going to be the first one to make a move. It seems to be how it is. I'm at low points anymore.
I forgot a prop. I was going to bring a prop to explain my next low point, which was bag over your head, right?
The bag, yeah.
And then it's like, right, it's sitting there, it's like, all right. And then it's like, all right, yeah. Then he gaffer tapes it. I was like, all right, yeah. So you won't be able to breathe. However, you could definitely just suck it in enough to pop it and then just breathe.
Go on. Yeah, bite
Chew on it, make a hole. I was going to genuinely get a prop to do it because, like, Ben, especially like Morgan Freeman's was a bit more baggy, but Ben Kingsley was like right on his mouth, and you hear it, and
yeah,
like,
it's like a tongue through it or something.
Yeah, easily.
I was laughing. I just got a prop. I'm just going to show you how to do this. And
Yeah, no, I kind of wish I killed himself on the podcast. Yeah. God,
100%. That's what I was going to do. I was just going to like, no, this. It's not just like it's a low point in this film, but just particularly bags over people's heads. Same with like fucking zip ties and shit like that. It's like they're fucking easy to break.
I wish that Slevin had just had like a roll of cling film in his hand. He's just waiting to make sure.
Yeah, when you do like that kind of thing, like yeah.
Every time they pop up, more cling film.
A bag with a gaffer, like yeah, okay, I get the gaffer tape, but yeah, there was so much like thing you could suck it all in, just make a pop or poke your tongue or chew it or something. They would have still been survived because they left as well. They didn't watch them die. Like 100%, they would be still alive.
Probably should have blown up the building as well, like he did in the other place. I don't know why he still blew up the building when they'd killed him. It seemed like it was just a.
I think Good Cat just got a bit happy. He was like,
it's just
I need to blow something up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is that us then for low points?
Thanks. So.
One quick question: why did the boss keep slamming his freezer? Why not just leave him dead, like on the thingy?
Probably to prove a point.
Yeah.
But he also didn't kill Slim. Maybe that's why. Because it was Good Cat that killed Slim, and they stole books. So maybe it was a case of, I need to keep a hold of this because it wasn't me did it. Maybe they found him and they didn't want the police sniffing around. Maybe that. Because he probably had cause to kill him. So therefore, they kept him.
I wonder what side Burkowski's on then. If he was involved in the both of them, does he lean towards?
Presumably neither of them, and that's why he's a cop now. He's probably trying to catch the two of them. Might be. But yeah, again, there you go. There's a story we could have like Why is he? Yeah, good twist. Yeah, he was actually involved because he had the bookie. That was the single clue in the whole film was he used to be my bookie as well. Other than that, there's no other connection to Stanley Tucci being a criminal in this. And then at the very end, oh yeah, I'm involved. Bang, I'm a bad dog. And it's like a strange twist, but yeah, a good one. It caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Point 4 on the podcast is the stats. The usual ones: 8 shits and 30 F-bombs. Well spread out, these ones, so it's good for me to keep track. And 1 explosion, which was of the flat, which was nice. It wasn't also the 6, we don't see the same explosion 6 times from 4 different angles as well. It was just 1 nice solid explosion. Deaths: 18 deaths, all basically of a character, somebody who was important. The first death coming inside 2 minutes was a quick one, though. That was when I think it was when we get Slim gets gunned down. It was like 1:40, depending on if you count after the when the film starts or when the studios start. Either way, it is inside 2 minutes. Our quotas on the podcast: no cows, no goats, no dead animals, and I think no pedos.
There's a horse. Horse.
So there is.
Yep.
Yeah, completely forgot about it. I was thinking there's no animals at all in the film.
And then your last one.
Who?
Look at the picture behind you.
Nah, I'm not having that.
Oh no, Nick was a pedo.
Was he? Oh, you're right. He was. Oh my god, I'm all over the place with these here. I forgot that he had misdemeanor felony, whatever you want to
I'm
call
going
it.
to later on, but I didn't.
I'm still saying Bruce Willis is a pedo as well.
I think Bruce Willis is. He doesn't have a
Look at that.
tash.
It's that tash and the mullet type thing going.
He has a tash. That's what
Look at the way he's looking at that kid. It's just like, I take you in my car. It's got that look.
No, I think Nick is the only one here. Tom Cruise trifecta. If only Slevin had ridden a motorbike, he would have been part of the trifecta as well. That's all he was missing. Did they say the thing? Lucky Number Slevin.
No, not including the song once. No,
They did.
yeah, just once.
They said it once when it was revealed that it's the name of the horse. Was Lucky at the 1 hour 36-minute mark was when the one time. Did they say the thing 7 in this film? As in, how often do you hear the number 7 mentioned?
Well, I was counting that and I got bored. What did I get to? I think I got to like 12 or something.
Well, that's more than I've got, so well done.
I got to 10.
I got to 10. Yeah, 10.
I got bored.
Yeah, so they must not have said it after you got bored, because I only got to 10 throughout. Yes, because I thought that was I think to count on since it's season 7. So I picked it. Chris, any stats from you?
Apart from counting sevens, got a fun little fact I might steal it from Andy. Josh Howard actually flashed Lucy Liu. She saw his Venus.
He was naked underneath his towel.
Yeah, so her look when she comes back and she's like, "Oh, it was genuine."
Right, that's the genuine take.
You can't do that nowadays.
No, definitely not. No.
Well, we all know who's next on the Me Too list. It's gonna be Josh Hart.
Oh, mate, before this Black Mirror episode comes out. Is that your only stat, Chris?
Yeah.
Andy, a fun fact isn't that one for us.
The director's hand is the X-ray.
Director's hand is the X-ray. Okay.
That's my only fun fact in this film. It's not a
not-
lot of fun in this film.
Not the funnest fact, thank you. On to the quiz, though. This is no doubt going to be fun. It's usually carnage when we get to point 5, the 10-point podcast quiz.
Especially if he doesn't enjoy a film.
Oh, I know.
Are you ready?
Nope, but carry on.
Right. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Bruce.
7.
7, you go first.
Oh.
That's how we do it.
I thought that was the quiz.
Nope. This goes first.
Mhm.
Name the movie from this little clue. In 1985, Oregon, when a backwoodsman brings a wife home to his farm and his 6 brothers decide that they want to marry to. That's the name of the film.
Is that 7 brides for 7 sons or something? Brothers? 7 bride for 7 brothers? Is that what
Yes,
it's
you just got it in the end. Yes.
called? Oh, I
One
got there in
point.
the end. Tripping over the words.
Chris,
Oh, Jesus.
who directs Fast and the Furious 7?
Vin Diesel.
Bruce?
Is his first name James?
Or
Is
it's
that-
keeping you in suspense.
Andy frozen, or am I not getting an answer? I think Andy might have frozen here. We'll have to wait for him to come back. Oh, here we go. Right, you froze
you
there,
are
Andy.
froze. Right, what was it?
My answer
Got it,
was.
got it.
My answer
You
was.
froze
his-
for me.
All right, okay. Well, you froze for us as well. James was his first name. Am I asking is James his first name? Is what I asked. I don't know. I can't remember what his second name is.
I think he's
Okay,
gone again.
he's frozen again, isn't he? I don't know.
Chris
Okay,
has broken the.
I don't know,
You
Andy.
all froze for me. I can hear you.
Right, I don't know.
Right, it was James Wan.
Man, that was it. Ah!
Jesus hell.
I'll give him half a point.
I
for
could
that.
hear everything you were saying. I was just like, stop, like.
You stopped, and then as I went to answer
Chris.
again, you stopped.
It's Bruce.
Yeah, me
Bruce.
first.
Oh yeah, it got thrown over. Right, Bruce. Eddie Redmayne stars as Tom Hayden. I will go for Hayden. In which 2017 movie?
Oh.
Eddie Redmayne stars as Tom Hayden in which 2017 movie?
Is it Fantastic Beasts? I don't know. I can't remember who plays in that.
Chris.
Is it the Danish girl?
You know, there's been a theme to my question
Yeah, but
so far.
I don't know. Every film has got the number 7 in it, so.
This was the trial of Chicago 7.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
yeah!
That, yeah.
Right, Chris. Is it Chris? Sorry.
Chris, yeah.
In British folklore, who is believed to possess healing powers?
What? Merlin?
In British, what did you say?
Merlin? I don't know.
Merlin.
Presumably
Chris.
it's not. The 7 Dwarfs?
No, it's the seventh son of the seventh son. Of the
Right.
seventh
Okay, all right, I see.
son. Who are we going now?
Me.
I forgot. Bruce. Brad Pitt and Catherine Zeta-Jones voice characters in which animated movie along the theme of sevens? That gives the clue. So
Animated movie.
I need the full title because it's the theme of sevens. Obviously, is my theme.
Yeah. What's Brad Pitt and Catherine Zeta-Jones animated? I don't know. I'll
One
pass.
animated film for him.
Right, come on, Chris.
The only film I've got that he animated in my head is Megamind. It's not Megamind.
Oh yeah, it's a
No,
Mega Man.
it was Sinbad, the Legend of the Seven Seas.
All right, okay, I did not
Jesus.
know it was an animated Sinbad.
Chris.
First, yeah.
Woody Harrelson, Colin Farrell, Christopher Walken all appear in which movie together?
Oh, Seven Psychopaths.
That one, yeah, that one.
Seven Psychopaths, yes.
That's like 1-1, by the way. That's quite.
Bruce, name, now if you're watching the other film that you were going to pick but you couldn't, this should be easy for you. Name the 7 deadly sins.
Name the 7 deadly sins. Right. Gluttony,
Yes.
greed,
Yes.
wrath, envy,
Yes. Yes.
pride, lust, and sloth.
Yes. You got them all. Chris. Name the movie from this little bio. A man with a fateful secret embarks on an extraordinary journey of redemption by forever changing the lives of 7 strangers.
No way you wrote that anyway.
I think that was Claudio.
I want to say Identity, but it's not Identity.
No. Chris.
Is it something daft like, I don't know, Forrest Gump or something like
No.
that?
It was a film called £7.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Is it Will Smith? Is that £7?
Oh yeah, he like donates his body to people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that.
Ah,
Where we're going? Is it Bruce? Bruce.
me first, yeah.
Which actor portrays the bad guy of Bartholomew Brogue in the Magnificent Seven remake?
Oh Christ!
Remake. I like the remake. Who's the bad one? I don't know if I know. I really enjoyed it. I can't think who the villain was, so I'm just going to say Denzel Washington because he's in it.
Nope. Chris.
My theory is Chris Pratt because he was in it, but he's not the bad guy.
It's Peter Skarsgård.
Oh, right, yeah.
I
So
would have got that.
Chris.
Yeah.
Which British-born wrestler appeared in AEW, WWE, NXT, and NXT UK?
Oh, is he? Oh.
Eh? Oh, I don't fucking know.
Bruce.
On the theory of the trend of the quiz, I'm going to guess Trent Seven.
Trent Seven.
Yeah,
Yes,
there we
Trent
go.
Seven.
I don't think I've seen him wrestling at AEW yet because I'm so far behind in watching it. So
What's the scores?
3-1 to me,
3-1.
and that's an even number
who-
of questions as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Right, 3-1. Yeah, we'll let Bruce win.
Yay! Woo.
I accept that. That was horrendous, that quiz.
That was tough.
Nothing came to my mind about sevens.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got the 7 deadly sins. Like I was like, oh, I was panicking. I couldn't get them at the end. Thank you, Andy. You've frozen for me again, so I think it's the same for Chris. So I will just bash on this point 6 movies within movies, and that's Chris's thing to start off with. So Chris, 10-point podcast, please.
Later on, I think we've got a Hall of Fame possibility coming up here. So Robert Forster, who played Murphy, he was in Me, Myself, and Irene as Colonel Partington.
Is he the boss of
The,
Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Not Mounties, whatever.
I had Mounties in my head, but the Troopers.
The Trooper, that's right. Yeah, he's boss Trooper.
Say Troopers.
I'm going to butcher this name. Danny Aiello, who played Roth, he was in Leon as Tony.
I think he's the guy that gives Leon the jobs in Leon. I think.
Told you this film's like Leon.
Daniel Cash, who was one of the Russian bodyguards, he was in Aliens as Spunkmeyer. Still the best name ever.
I did get that one. I did not.
I knew this one instantly. McKelty Williamson, who was slow, was in Forrest Gump as Bubba.
He was Bubba, yeah.
And Bubba, his bottom jaw goes out. This one is his top jaw.
That has to be intentional. It's like, oh, we'll give you big buck teeth this time. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, the boss, he was in Batman Begins as Lucius Fox and Seven as Somerset.
I feel like we've done him again. That's
I'm thinking that. I feel like we did Ben Kingsley, but
I thought so as well. But we haven't.
Okay, good. And our Hall of Fame nominee has to be Bruce Willis as Good Cat. He's been in The Expendables as Mr. Church, The Fifth Element as Corbin Dallas, Beavis and Butthead Do America as Muddy, Luke is Talking, he did Mikey's voice, and he was John McClane in Die Hard.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in the running. Is that 6 appearances? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appearances.
Yeah, 7 now.
It's definitely most.
Yeah, not 7. This is 6.
7, 11. That's 6.
This
If
is
only it
6.
was his. He should have
If only
planned
it
it
was
better.
7th appearance.
Oh, no, yeah, right, yeah, that must count.
And that's it. I know you won more than I did, Chris. So I think you have nailed it. Haven't you recast the 3 of us into roles in the film?
I did. I put myself as the rabbi and Andy as the boss, and I put Bruce as Good Cat.
Thank you very much. I went a similar route. I thought I'm the boss, Andy's the rabbi, and Chris, I guess he's been a Slevin after all these years.
He's good gas.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. That's where I went. A couple of movie references from Russia with Love and North by Northwest are basically discussed at length in various scenes in this film. So I'll cram them in here. But my usual questions of the week, could this film have come out in 1995? Absolutely, and near enough with the same cast. I think you could make the same film, Kingsley, Freeman, Willis playing the exact same roles, like 12 years earlier. You'd have to get a different Slevin, basically. Tom Cruise could be.
I was actually thinking Tom Cruise as well.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, yeah. And then, I don't know who you'd have. I don't think Nicole Kidman could be Lucy Liu's character. There'd be an
still do it, I think.
I don't want her to do it. That's the thing. I want someone else
Cameron
to do that.
Diaz.
Cameron Diaz. Maybe before she was in The Mask, she could be in this, maybe. So, yeah. Actually, she'd be really good. Yeah, Cameron Diaz, yeah. Night and Day, but also Lucky Number Slevin. Dead Man Walking, the Rabbi was the one I picked. I thought there's no way Ben Kingsley's making out of this. But as Andy says, you basically know everyone's going to get it one way or another. But I just felt like the Rabbi wasn't making it out safely. Who's in the wrong movie? I say Lucy Liu's in the wrong movie. Her character is
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett, maybe. But I thought he's okay because he's kind of.
I don't think he's like the star power. Like the rest of this film's got so much star power, and he's like the one to focus on. It's just anybody other than him, I hate the guy.
When did he come in?
I just hate him.
He'd gone Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down, Sin City leading up to this, so it's not like he's a famous actor at this point. And
he was shitting every one of them.
That's harsh.
You think Pearl Harbor? You think Ben Affleck?
I think Pearl Harbor. I think Disaster that nobody went to see it. Money, but it comes up a lot. But yeah, I think Lucy Liu, I think a better actress, and also her character doesn't fit with the rest of the film intentionally, so it has to be her. And which movie trope would we like to see die? We've already mentioned it for me. Hiding in the back seat of a car. I don't know how it's so possible for people who are in films to get back unseen into someone's car. That's
Yeah,
usually
sure.
not.
I always check. I naturally just look at the back seats. Just in
I
case
know,
there's a
when you
murderer
walk
there.
past a car, you just see this back seat, you're like, well, that's somebody lying down. I'm just going to avoid the car.
Fuck that shit.
I've completely forgotten until right now. I live like 2 floors up. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2 floors up. And so my front window looks out onto like a road that goes past. Just randomly the other day, went over to the window. I can't remember what it was to do something at the windowsill. And this, like a flatbed drove past. Like I picked up a broken down car. And I just looked out and there's just a guy lying in the back seat of the car. I was like, oh my God, what the hell's a guy in that car lying down? So they must have
That
had a
actually works, because Sean hid in the back of his mum's car for like half an hour until she got in, and she fucking shit herself. So it does work.
We should try it. We should try more often. See if he looks in the back seats.
Yeah, just keep jumping in people's cars. Yeah, I want that to go. Any other tropes?
Bags
Chess.
over people's heads.
Bags over heads, yeah.
I did chess. Like, why does everyone in movies know how to play that fucking game?
I could play chess. I'm not
Nobody
good
can
at
play
it.
chess.
I can play it.
No.
I know how they move. The only one I don't remember is exactly how the knight moves. I know it kind of
This is where me and you fell out once, Bruce, for fucking trying to play chess in that game.
rapidly.
I don't
Yeah,
know how the heads work as well.
We
This
have-
was just fucking glass.
You were like,
How can you
pawn
see it?
to 3B or something. I was like, what the fuck's a pawn? My
that's
character's freezing to death, couldn't see shit, and you're just like, give me chess moves.
I'm telling you what they're actually called. The little castle rather than the horse and the horsey I said, really, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, on to point 7. What thing is that one thing this film has? What is the one thing, Andy, that Lucky Number Slevin has?
The film that I actually which is in my top 5 of most despised films of all time.
Is it this?
That's the one thing.
The one thing I've had that you hate this film.
Yeah, I hate it.
I've
It
got-
angers me, this film.
I've gone for just the word Slevin. Doesn't exist except for this film, and I can't really hear Lucky Number 7 without thinking of Lucky Number Slevin now.
Yeah.
So just the word Slevin is what this film has. Chris, what about you?
I just play the ultimate revenge.
It's the ultimate revenge. Is it killing
This
it?
is not a film with the ultimate revenge. Fuck that shit.
Oh,
It's better
yeah,
ones.
he kills everybody that killed his entire family. It's the ultimate revenge.
Oh,
That's fair.
bullshit.
I think there are ultimater revenges in this.
I
But,
reckon there's ultimate revenges.
but yeah, okay, fair enough. It is a good, solid revenge. I definitely have that written in my notes, so I agree. Point 8 is our nominations for the 10-Point Podcast Awards. Chris, what have you got to
This is
argue?
going to go disastrously because
Who's the
everybody's going to
argue?
disagree.
Yeah.
Because I put best actor Josh Hartnett. I thought he was good.
Bullshit.
I left it blank. I don't think he does enough.
He played cocky really well, and I thought maybe he's not like that in real life. So
I certainly will allow it, but I feel like he's not going to get a final nomination come the point.
Yeah.
Saying.
My best supporting, you're going to hate it. I put Lucy Liu. I thought she was fucking nailed it. Like I just said,
I liked her.
I went
I'm
Morgan
with you there, Chris.
Morgan Freeman for
Nah.
me.
it was going to be the rabbi because I thought Ben Kingsley was really good.
He was hamming it up. I think I've actually got Ben Kingsley. He was my backup for worst acting behind Lucy Liu. Because Ben Kingsley is acting at about 150% a couple of times, where he's just like full on going.
So you want an actor who goes, oh wait, doesn't just phone it in.
If you guys will see Lucy Liu, on you go. But
I'm saying Lucy Liu. I'm giving
horrendous.
that to Chris.
Horrendous.
I was going to say best badass is Slevin.
Good Cat is the best badass.
Oh, I love that. I realised that as soon as I said it was good cap. My best team, I really wanted to say Sloan Elvis, but it has to be Slevin and Good Cap.
Definitely. I was the same. I really wanted it to be them, but they barely do anything. And Good Cat and Slevin are so effective. I think they're the best team.
My best villain, Slevin.
He's not a bad guy.
He's the
He's a
hero.
bad guy.
I had
He's
the
not a bad
boss as a possible best villain, but I could maybe be like, and leave it blank. But you can't have the hero of the story is not the best villain. I'm sorry.
Well, he kills people.
It's a redemption story. It's
Or-
fine. You can bend the law.
Yeah, exactly.
Bend the law.
The law says you can get revenge on the person that killed
Aye.
your brother. Oh, actually, it wasn't them, was it? What did they do? No, they killed the dad, didn't they? The two of them.
Yeah.
They were killing the dad. Yeah.
Best death, I put the boss and the rabbi.
Nope.
The rabbi accepted his fate like a champ compared to the boss who was trying to hide away from it. He just like took the bag. He's like, I'm done.
I know I'm bad. I was
That's
Nick
because
Christian.
he knows you could have sucked that out and just got it. Made a hole.
Nick Fisher for me was the best death there. Hoya! Out in the air. Do you have a tiebreaker, Andy, or you
Nope.
just? Right, okay, we'll leave that unvoted on then.
Okay. Stupidest character was Slow because he was actually stupid, but
It was
he
a bit.
was.
Yeah.
I really wanted an inanimate object, but I couldn't think of one. Apparently, it's good. Bruce.
Yep. No, can.
For me,
We've all had a freeze. All the proper freeze today, aren't we? Oh, he's back. He's laughing.
I had the chessboard, but I don't care enough to vote for the chessboard
Okay.
as the best.
Best plan is Slevin's. Is like definition of a perfect plan.
It's the Kansas City Shuffle. Is it the Kansas? I got confused on what the Kansas City Shuffle actually was.
Well, kind of, yeah, because he was doing all his jobs and stuff, so all the bosses and that were looking at him this way, and he came out of nowhere on the left and fucking did them.
Because so if that's the Kansas City Shuffle, then that. Otherwise, yes, it's Slevin.
Oh, best weapon, the baseball.
Baseball, yeah. Not the best death though, but
No, it came out of nowhere. I forgot about that. Best twist, the fact that Nick was a sex offender, because I've missed that in all previous viewings. So he was actually a dick.
So it's good that he got killed as well.
Yeah.
I still thought Tucci being involved was the best twist, but.
I'm gonna give that one to Bruce because that's the only thing that kind of made me go, oh, yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, because it's so not evident up until the point.
Yeah.
It's like you were the person who killed my mother.
What special effects is the switch between the buildings?
Oh, I don't even remember that, but yeah, it probably was.
Nope, can't remember.
Okay, best set was the penthouse suites because it looked quite cool.
I didn't like Morgan Freeman's house. That's my hot take from this film. His fancy flat, I thought it was appalling looking. I didn't think it was a good movie set either. I was like, you could have made this better in a couple of ways. I don't know what the best set is because the horrific wallpaper ruins most. But I don't know.
I didn't have wallpaper. That's why I picked it.
Yeah.
My Michael Pena was Murphy telling Burkowski who Slevin is. As Slevin's telling the rabbi, the boss, who he is.
That's absolutely it. I have got that. Robert Forster revealing everything on the phone. But because talking about him, can I have Robert Forster as best cameo in this film? Because he comes out of nowhere, reasonably famous actor, nominated for Big Time Awards. He's just on the end of the phone explaining the end of the film in the perfect way. Like, he has a fantastic voice for doing it. Comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Robert Forster's in this film, and that's all he does. He's gone again, and I'm like, I want him as best cameo. I think I've got him for best voice work because he's most of his part in this film as well. So maybe him as well. But yeah, that's a fantastic bit. It really should be a high point, but I wanted to kind of save it down the end here for these. But yeah, Robert Forster was amazing. I'm having him as best cameo.
What's weird to have anybody?
Yeah, no. Unless you wanted to go with what do you call him? Corey Stoll for being best cameo at the Christmas.
As soon as his name popped up, I kind of remembered that he was one of the guys. My worst cop was Burkowski because he's a dirty cop.
Yeah, I think because he's actually a bad guy, but I can't work out if he's supposed to be like a dirty cop throughout or if he's a full I am now a clean cop. No, I'm not sure where he lies, but yeah. He very much lets Slevin get away with everything he wanted to do and be, good cat's in town, and then that, like, that's it. That's all the contact he has with Bruce Willis in the whole film. So.
My worst hair was Slevin's.
He does struggle to control it, but I think Bruce Willis's 80s hair.
Oh, I love the mullet.
There we go. Bruce Willis.
Makes him look like a sex pest.
I think that's me.
Right, if that's you, I don't think we've got hundreds of extras. Best character name, Slevin Calevera. You having that? Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, fuck.
Best song is the Kansas City Shuffle by whoever that was at the end. Right, I'm not having that either. Fair enough. Just about me, I think. Danny John Jules, Corey Stoll, because I wasn't expecting him to show up. Unless you want Robert Forster there as well.
I'll accept Robert Forster there.
Yeah.
Danny, because it was kind of good. Most obvious name, the boss, the rabbi, both, either.
Yeah,
Fairy.
Both each, aren't they?
Fairy, yeah. I suppose he had another name, didn't he? I guess, but yeah, the boss, just being called the boss was probably it. Most underused. Can we have a consensus of who is most underused? Like everybody.
They're all pretty bad, like in underused category.
I'm quite happy with it as it is.
They're all underused.
Everybody, the most of the cast underused. Worst acting? You're not letting me have any of them, are you? Lucy Liu, Ben
Nope.
Kingsley? No,
No.
neither of them. Done that. Worst father figure? Max, Slevin's dad. Is he the worst
Yep.
father figure?
Shouldn't we taking your kid to the racetracks?
Encouraging him to lie and all this
Uh,
sort of gets killed because he's 20 grand in debt to a gangster.
It's
Yeah.
a bad dad.
Father figure. Worst plan? Living across the road from your worst enemy. Not a good way.
At least that way, you're always advising them.
There's that point.
Or they just stand at the window.
But they end up like self-imprisoning because they're scared to go outside. At least if you live far away from them, you might be like, well, I don't
Can you
know.
imagine not leave your house for 20 years.
Worst set. I have complained about all the sets, but the worst set. There is no way that was an airport terminal.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I agree.
I thought it was a bus terminal at first.
Well, maybe it was, but I mean, either way, there was not vehicles outside of those. What do they call it? Stained glass? It's not stained glass, but
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, that's my worst set. I think that's me. Andy, have you got any nominations? You might struggle for a product placement.
Nope, because I genuinely think this is the first one where I did not notice a single product placement. They covered everything up. Like
Sure, but the
I was even
cars-
looking at the cars, and yeah, it's like there was like you couldn't even see a badge. There was nothing. You just went, here's a product. Here's what's paying us. There's
Is there
nothing.
anything on the phone behind you there? I think we should have. That's got like a.
No, nothing on it.
But yeah, so
There was
nobody.
brand
a
anywhere.
sign on the side of the van, but I couldn't tell you what it was for.
Did we not get in New York? There's that kind of famous sign that kind of lights up on top of a building. That might have been in the film, but
That didn't narrow it down.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in like Grand Theft Auto 4 and all. So this sign.
I still don't even remember. Like there was not one. Normally I see something. Like even Avatar we had it.
Yeah,
Like this is
yeah.
nothing.
But yeah, I think so. I couldn't think of anything either.
Sugar.
Peanut bar. That peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, sugar as well. And the whiskey.
Whiskey. Oh yeah, it was a whiskey. There was a whiskey brand.
Nope. It was in a decanter thing.
All right, there you go. Fair enough. None of them then. Point 9 on the podcast, the moral of the story. What lesson were we supposed to learn? I want to go first in case Chris has got mine because I have that power. So my moral of the story: the first time somebody calls you a horse, you punch him on the nose. The second time someone calls you a horse, you call him a jerk. But the third time somebody calls you a horse, then perhaps it's time to go shopping for a saddle. That's the
Yeah,
moral.
that's exactly what I had. Mine just don't bet on horses.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Andy, what's your moral of the story?
Yeah, mine's just very much similar. Gambling's bad.
It's bad. I think it's the horse one. That's what I was supposed to learn. The 10th point. It's the 10-point rating out of 10 for this film. I picked it. I get to go first again. A bit shallow in some aspects is what I've got. Like there's not much depth to the characters and the stories. There's some deep bits and bobs to that, but nobody hangs around too long. But I do love a satisfying revenge movie, which is something Chris definitely picked up on. I previously rated this very, very, very high, and I'm marking it down because I didn't enjoy it quite as much, to an 8. That's how much I used to like this film. An 8 out of 10 for Lucky Number Slevin for me. Andy, I've got you going next because I thought Chris might
1.
not. Yeah, oh, you've got 1 from Andy. 'Cause
Like genuinely, my reason for it, I don't know why. I fucking hate this film, and there's very few films that I fucking hate. Like I went into the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus going, no, I like this film. I came out fucking hating it just as much as this film. And now the first time I watched this film, I'm pretty sure I watched it with Bly, put it on. I got about halfway through and just going, the fuck is this film? Like it just wants to be everything. Like this, I think that's my problem with it. Is like I said, it's got Saw elements. It's got the weird walkie slowy bits when there's a Saw flashback. It's got like Leon vibes on it. It's just got like it just tries to be everything, and it could potentially have a good story. Like the revenge bit is good at the end. It is satisfying, but they just copied everybody and just fucked it, and it just annoys me. I don't know why. And I hate Josh Hartnett. He's a dick.
The vendettas you have against people.
Just random people.
And also, it made me just think of Guy Ritchie as well this time, especially. So it angered me even more. Just going off the back of watching fucking
picking
thing.
these twisty, turny, big cast plots for Andy to get angry about. Chris, what's your score?
This is one of those films that I wish I could see for the first time again because I absolutely love it. It would have been a 9 if I was watching it for the first time, but like I noticed all the little bits and you kind of remember what's happening, so it gets an 8 for me as well.
These guys are fucking mental.
I fucking love this film.
Maybe you're the one that's mental, Andy.
I am not mental.
Scored it the same, and you're like, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. So that's
Normally you give films points because it's got Bruce Willis in it, or it's
I
got
do.
something else. It's got
Everybody-
explosion.
It just annoyed me every single like the Imaginarium's got a good cast, and that thing annoyed the shit out of me as well.
I fuck that annoyed me. No.
Oh yeah, well everyone hated that film, I think. So because of Andy, that gets a 6 out of 10, despite me and Chris averaging an 8 out of 10. A 6 out of 10 for this film.
You're lucky. It should be like averaging a 5 if.
I don't know what I still don't know what it is, Andy, you're looking for in films. It's like some things that you should hate, you love. Some things you should hate, you hate. Some things that you do love are awful, and some things that you love are amazing. I
think it just depends what kind of mood, because you may have a bad day at work and you're just going to watch the perfect film. One, I was in a shit mood. I hate it.
Perfect film. I fucking hate this film.
I do feel like there's a gulf when you're scoring, Andy. That's like 1, and then there's the 4, and then it's capped at about a 7. Like that's it's like there's nothing in between there.
I've rated 10 out of 10 films before.
Yeah, Jurassic Park got 10s from all of us. There you go. You love Jurassic Park, and I did. It's I don't know. Wild card. That ends my theme for the season of cops and/or robbers.
Thank fuck. Wait, I think I found a realization as well. I don't like cops and robber films.
Right, yeah. Den of Thieves, Scream, From Dusk Till Dawn, Beverly Hills Cop, and Lucky Number Slevin. I mean, you like Beverly Hills Cop, and you like Scream.
You like Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, yeah, there's cops in that. So,
but like Bruce's version of a cops were like this kind of thing.
This isn't cops and robbers, though. This had a cop in it.
I mean, I don't know what I rated. What you call it? That one with the fucking crawfish, but that was I'd rather watch that again than this. Fucking hell.
I don't know why the crawfish got to you so much. I don't know.
Rock and Roller.
You complain when you see things. I've seen this a million times before, and this film had like a crawfish bit, and you're like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." It's like something you hadn't seen before, but you hate it because it's something you hadn't seen.
Because a crawfish can't eat a human.
Explained that it could. Next time. I think it's Chris. I forgot to check at the start.
Shit, yeah, it is me.
Yeah, it's Chris.
Chris's unfinished business. I'm assuming
Please bring it back, Chris.
Some business to finish with this last pick.
This is a film that I've wanted to pick since season 1, but I've kind of shot myself in the foot with different themes, so I've not been able to pick it. So I am picking a film that should get Andy back on side because it's a Ryan Reynolds film.
Oh.
Just Friends.
Oh.
Just Friends.
I love it. I like a rom-com and Ryan Reynolds.
We've not done rom-com for a while.
Definitely not.
Friends.
Yeah.
I can't really give you a year and 8 other than it's got Ryan Reynolds in it. I've not watched this film in fucking years. So
I'm gonna tell winner.
Ryan Reynolds, Amy Smart seems to be the love interest. All right, by the poster, I can see where this is going already. Okay. So there you have it. That's what's next time on the podcast. Only 2 episodes to go this season, I think, Chris, and then we get
Chris in the wheel.
Random wheel spinning.
And the wheel's fucked us every single time, so this could be the last time we can film.
The odds of us getting the streak of bad films the wheel has given us has been poor. Anyway, Just Friends, Ryan Reynolds, 2005 rom-com. That's what's next, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.